My mother-in-law tried to steal my inheritance, but her plan backfired spectacularly. Hi Reddit. Buckle up because this is going to be long, dramatic, and honestly, the most cathartic thing I've ever written. I, 31F, just received final confirmation that the estate left to me by my late grandmother is mine. Officially. After a brutal 11-month legal battle against my charming mother-in-law, Patricia, aka the queen of passive-aggressive Bible quotes and unsolicited parenting advice, I'm finally free. But I need to get this whole mess off my chest because I still can't believe the lengths she went to, and how spectacularly she failed. Let's go back to the beginning. A little context. My grandmother, Grandma Rose, was my safe haven growing up. My mom died when I was 10 and my dad kind of checked out emotionally after that. Grandma Rose stepped in and became everything. She practically raised me. I was the shy, artsy girl who never fit in and she made me feel like I was more than enough. She taught me how to cook, garden, and how to stand up for myself. Skills that would all come in handy later. When she passed away 2 years ago, it shattered me. She had always been transparent about her estate. She wanted me to have everything because, in her words, "You've been my greatest blessing, Sarah. Everything I've built should go to you." That included her $4.2 million estate, mostly in real estate and vintage jewelry, with a massive Victorian home in Vermont that had been in the family for generations. She made it crystal clear in her will. I was to be the sole beneficiary and executor. She even made me co-executor with her attorney before she passed to ensure a smooth transition. Enter Patricia, the real villain of this story. The reading of the will. Patricia has never liked me. From the moment I met her, she treated me like I was a dirty, barefoot swamp creature who had crawled out of a bog and seduced her precious son Michael. We met in college, he spilled coffee on my laptop, offered to fix it, and we've been inseparable ever since. At our wedding, Patricia wore white. At our baby shower, she loudly questioned whether our son would be normal, since I wasn't properly raised. When Grandma Rose died, Patricia acted weirdly excited. I remember her bringing me flowers and saying, "Well, I guess it's time for the older generation to move on and make room for the young." The hell does that even mean? So we all gather for the will reading. My husband Michael, Patricia, my aunt, Grandma Rose's lawyer, and me. The lawyer starts reading, and when it becomes clear that everything is going to me, Patricia's whole face contorts like she sucked on a lemon soaked in betrayal. And then this woman, interrupts the reading, scoffing like she's watching a bad play. "I'm sorry, did you say everything?" to her. "But she's not even blood family," Patricia said, like she'd just caught me forging the will with crayon. Cue silence. My aunt looked like she was about to throw her purse at her. The lawyer, God bless his soul, replied calmly, "That is correct. Per Rose's wishes, Sarah Chin is the sole beneficiary and executor." Then Patricia dropped this gem. "This is ridiculous. That girl wormed her way into an old woman's heart and manipulated her. I don't accept this." Michael whispered, "Mom, please, stop." But she was just getting started. The scheme begins. A week later I got served. Patricia was contesting the will. Her claim? That Grandma Rose was mentally incompetent when she signed it and that I coerced her into cutting out the rest of the family. I was stunned. Devastated. But also furious. Michael tried to reason with her. He told her, "Mom, Sarah didn't manipulate anyone. Grandma Rose made her wishes clear." Patricia accused him of being brainwashed by the harlot he married. Yeah. Real Christian energy. Things got ugly fast. She dug through my social media, submitted photos of Grandma Rose with mildly messy handwriting as proof of senility, and even tried to claim my grandma had promised her a fair share. Her evidence was laughable. But the stress was crushing. I had to hire a lawyer, spend thousands, dig up everything. Photos, documents, voicemail recordings from Grandma Rose talking about the will, medical records confirming she was of sound mind. At one point during a deposition, Patricia cried and said, "All I wanted was to be respected by this family. Is that so wrong?" while glaring at me like I had personally poisoned her tea. The courtroom showdown. In the final week, my lawyer dropped the bombshell. Patricia had forged documents. She submitted a handwritten note claiming Grandma Rose promised her the house. But the handwriting expert we hired torched her claims. It wasn't even close to Rose's penmanship. Even better, Patricia had emailed the forgery to herself using a burner Gmail that was traced back to her IP address. When the judge ruled in my favor, I almost cried. Patricia was barred from any involvement in the estate, and the will was upheld in full. The judge said, "There is compelling evidence of deliberate fraud. The court finds the defendant's behavior malicious and dishonest." I felt like I could breathe again. The final meltdown. After the ruling, Patricia cornered me in the courthouse hallway. She walked up, face flushed, and spat out, "You're a gold-digging little witch. You always knew Michael had money coming. That's why you latched onto him. I see you now. You tricked that old woman and you tricked my son. I was shaking. I opened my mouth but Michael beat me to it. So, you've done enough. You tried to ruin my wife's life, drag Grandma Rose's name through the mud, and steal from your own family. We're done. Don't contact us again. Patricia's face went slack. You could see the moment it hit her that she'd lost her son too. The book. So here we are. I'm sitting in the sunroom of Grandma Rose's house, sipping tea out of her favorite china cup, surrounded by plants she planted with love. The paperwork is finalized. The estate is mine. And Patricia? She's now the neighborhood cautionary tale, the woman who tried to steal her daughter-in-law's inheritance and ended up losing everything, including her relationship with her son and grandson. I don't know what her next move is, but I don't care. Because I won. And more importantly, I didn't stoop to her level. Thanks for listening, Reddit. That was a long one, but holy hell, I needed it. Update 2 weeks later. Patricia sent a 7-paragraph apology letter to Michael. Not me. She said I was hard to love, but that she hoped he'd see reason and bring her grandson around sometime. Michael didn't respond. He burned the letter in the backyard fire pit and said, she had her chance. I think Grandma Rose is smiling somewhere. Let me know if y'all want more details. I left out the part where she tried to show up to our house with a priest and cleanse it of my influence. Part 2. The exorcism attempt. Yes, you read that right. So, a few of you asked for more details about the priest incident. Buckle up again. Because if you thought contesting a will and calling me a gold digger was the peak of Patricia's psychosis, oh sweet summer child, we hadn't even hit the final boss level of unhinged. This happened about a month after the initial will reading but before the court ruled in my favor. I was already knee-deep in legal hell, juggling depositions and paperwork while trying to take care of my 3-year-old son Leo and, grieve my grandmother. I was exhausted, emotionally fried, and just trying to keep it together. Michael was at work. I was home with Leo eating dinosaur nuggets like a true multitasking queen, when I heard a knock at the front door. I opened it, and there she was. Patricia. In pearls, of course. With a full-length church coat, white gloves, and the smugness of someone who thinks they're delivering divine justice. Behind her stood an actual priest. A real, living, breathing priest. Holding a Bible, a small bottle of what I assume was holy water, and a tote bag that literally said faith over fear. My first words were, "Are you kidding me?" And Patricia, with zero irony, looked me dead in the eye and said, "Sarah, I come to you today not as your mother-in-law, but as a concerned woman of God. I have prayed about this, and the Lord told me your spirit has a hold on this house." Excuse me? The house. That my grandmother left me. He kept going. Oh, she had prepared this speech. Ever since Rose passed, you've been different. Bitter. Angry. Closed off. That's not the Sarah I remember. This home has always been filled with love and light. I believe her passing created a spiritual imbalance. And I think, humbly, that your grief has opened a door to something dark. Something unnatural. Oh, I thought I was being punked. So, she said, gesturing dramatically to the priest behind her, Father Marcus and I have come to cleanse this home. We mean no harm. We're just trying to protect our family. No. Father Marcus looked like he wanted to be anywhere but on my front porch. He wasn't even making eye contact. He was already regretting every life choice that led him to this exorcism light with the suburban Satan hunter in a cashmere cardigan. I responded as kindly as I could through clenched teeth. This isn't your house. This isn't your decision. And if you don't leave right now, I'm going to call the police and ask them if they have a holy water-resistant jail cell. Patricia tried to step forward like she was going to bless my damn foyer. So I did what any woman on the edge would do. I slammed the door in her face. She stood outside for 20 minutes chanting something I can only describe as Latin-adjacent Bible karaoke. Leo stood by the window yelling, "Nana says no ghosts here," which honestly deserves an Oscar. Eventually, Father Marcus knocked gently on the door by himself and said, "Ma'am, I apologize. I was led to believe this was a request from the homeowner. I'm very sorry for the misunderstanding." I told him, "No offense, but next time maybe ask a few more questions before doing a drive-by exorcism." He nodded and left. Respectfully. Patricia, however, left behind a handwritten letter in my mailbox, again, that read, "You have a chance to cleanse this house of evil. You are choosing pride instead of peace. Do not let stubbornness be your downfall. The Lord will not be mocked." I took the letter, framed it, put it in the guest bathroom. Every time a visitor uses the toilet, they get a little taste of Patricia's holiness. Michael's reaction. When Michael came home and I told him what happened, he sat in stunned silence for a full 30 seconds, then muttered, I need wine." He later called her and, bless this man, finally said what he'd been holding in for years. Mom, I've tolerated your passive aggression, your backhanded compliments, your attempts to parent my wife and undermine her at every turn. But trying to exorcise our home? That's insane. So, if you want a relationship with me or your grandson, stop this madness. She responded, I will never bless this marriage as long as she has a hold on you. You've become a stranger. This is not how I raised you. Michael just said, good. Maybe that's the problem. That was the start of the final unraveling. The priest's stunt was just another nail in the coffin she built with her own manipulative hands. Now, the house is peaceful. I saged it myself for balance, of course, relieved face. I even held a garden party in Grandma Rose's honor and played the violin she loved so much. Every flower bloomed, the sun was warm, and Leo danced barefoot across the lawn. Patricia? She hasn't been within 500 feet of the property since the court ruling. She still sends Michael passive-aggressive scripture texts like, honor thy father and mother, and pride goeth before destruction, but we ignore her. Block. Delete. Heal. So yeah, she tried to exorcise me from my own damn house. But all she did was prove once and for all that she was the ghost who needed to be removed.